injured in the most recent game for the Cavaliers. And Snowden out of the mix, but certainly involved in this game. One of the seniors recognized prior to the game. You see he's got the cast around the lower right leg. And so Snowden not available today. A defensive force. Right leg injury against Abilene Christian a couple of weeks ago. And so Virginia won the toss and elected to defer, and there will be no return from the BC Eagles. So we'll get a look at Grosel right away. Out of the chute, 7 starts last year. He goes 6'1", 223 pounds. A junior from Willoughby, Ohio, will lead the Eagles this afternoon, James.
Yeah, and Abby was telling us about how Hafley overheard him telling his center that it was just like riding a bike, and there are no training wheels. The one snap prior to going into that Louisville game that he took all season was in Death Valley, and it was a big one, a 4th down conversion to move the chains when it was one play Jerkovic out.
So his first pass falls incomplete to Zay Flowers. Flowers, the sophomore, 7 touchdown catches on the season, and he is one of our Toyota impact players, James.
Yeah, there you go. He can do it all. He's everything you're looking for in a playmaker, and another guy who gets better every time out. And Zane Zandier, the senior linebacker wearing that goose egg 0. They call him ZZ Stop. And he's made plenty of stops here in his career for the University of Virginia.
Zandier second on the team in tackles with 67. Grosel pursued and brought down. Grosel was sacked. Adib Atarawa on the sack for Virginia.
Well, and this is where you've got a backup quarterback who hasn't had a lot of action. Jerkovic knows that feel, that clock in your head as a quarterback. You got to get rid of the football and tucking and running, and this is a team that no matter who's sitting in that offensive meeting room, you know that they are going to come after the quarterback, and you know that they've been successful many times here this season. There's a big sack to start this game and a big loss of 11.
29 sacks in total for Virginia this season, 7th in the conference. Grosel was able to handle that snap, but whistles will halt the play, and the penalty will go against Boston College. So this 3rd down just gets longer and longer now for BC. They're pretty good though on 3rd down, 44%. But this is going to be 3rd and 26 as Lindstrom, the false start on the offensive line for the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't care how good you are on 3rd down. There aren't a lot of plays
one
in that playbook for Frank Signetti, the offensive coordinator. Just got to be safe here, especially with a backup quarterback. They'll walk up and bring 4.
Going to throw from his goal line at the 30 in stride. That's Hunter Long who makes the catch. Does he have enough, James, up near the 34-yard line?
How about that strike? And it's going to be a shame if he's just about a yard short. And I beg your pardon, go get it, Grosel. Good blocking up front, nice protection as Virginia doesn't bring a blitz. And you go to the big target, a couple really good tight ends in this football game, and they'll line it up at least looking like they're going to go for it on a 4th down and 1.
25 yards on the previous play. Trying to get Virginia to move. Both teams are pointing at one another, and there is a flag down on the field. Marcus Woods is our referee this afternoon.
Ball start.
It's against the Eagles.
5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So you might see the punting unit now, James. It was going to be 4th and 1 after the 25-yard pickup. Grosel to Long.
You know what? They can shift, but I wonder if they're calling that bob on Grosel is the way he jerked coming out of there like he had the football, because you're allowed to shift like that, and that's what they were trying to do. They were trying, probably with the cadence, to draw UVA off sides.
Carlson the punt for the Eagles. That ball hit at about the 37. A flag is out. Billy Kemp was the return man. He never got to the football, but again, a marker on the play. Grant Carlson with the punt for the Eagles.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team number 11. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down, Virginia.
Penalties against Boston College.
They call it pass catch interference. There's Kemp, who does it all on offense for him. And boy, one big traffic jam on that short punt from a punter who really has been an unsung hero for this special teams unit in Grant Carlson this year, the graduate from Missouri City, Texas. So it'll be midfield to start.
Brennan Armstrong able to scoop up that snap. Might have been a little low. He'll scramble and get inside the BC 45-yard line. Brandon Barlow made the tackle of Armstrong on the run. That was a 7-yard play. The numbers for Armstrong, James, very solid, and the 15 TD passes.
Yeah, absolutely, and that includes the game and a half or so that he missed with the concussion.
Missed the game against NC State, the only home loss this season for Virginia. Armstrong again trying to fight his way to the 35-yard line. He is the leading rusher for this team. Came into the game with 399 yards on the ground and 4 rushing TDs for the sophomore. Jamin Muse in on the play as well.
You get a lot of different looks, a lot of shifts, a lot of different personnel groupings from Robert Anae. Anae has a long time been a great offensive play caller in this college football game.
6 yards on the previous rush. Armstrong wants to throw it. Ooh, nearly intercepted down by the 15-yard line. He was looking for Poljan. Looked like Muse was trying to step in the passing lane. Time for the Toyota Impact players with the Cavaliers on offense, James.
All right, watch for 99, not just if you're a Boston College defender like Max Richardson, because Keytaon Thompson all over the place. The transfer from Mississippi State is electric, can do a lot of things. And Max Richardson, just one of many great linebackers playing in this one out of Duluth, Georgia.
Armstrong to about the 25-yard line. Muse made the tackle for BC, number 8 in white. Armstrong not shy about tucking it and running with it.
No, sir. And he's a banger. He's not shy about going and getting some contact if it means getting a couple extra yards. He's not shy about putting his head down, and that's where the concussion, that's where the trouble came in. On 4th downs, he's averaging 12 yards a carry. So when it's all on the line, they want the ball in number 5's hands.
Yeah, he just got 11 yards, James, to get the first down. Right near that 25-yard line, and whistle stopped the play. Flag is out.
False start. Offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Robert Anae, the offensive coordinator in his 5th season for the Cavaliers, was with Bronco Mendenhall at Brigham Young University as the offensive coordinator as well before Coach Mendenhall came to the grounds of the University of Virginia. Cavs working on a 3-game winning streak. A flag is out in the offensive backfield. That pass down near the 25-yard line was complete. Shane Simpson.
Holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Flag happy early. This time it's Ryan Swoboda, the junior from Windermere, Florida. Take a look at him right there, the right tackle. I don't know that I saw it, but lucky that was a quick game there because he fanned on his guy to boot. First down and 20 now.
You can see Virginia. Very rarely are they penalized, but they've had trouble here. That one out inside the 20. And the catch is made at about the 16-yard line. Lavelle Davis using his entire 6'7" frame to catch that one over Deion Jones.
Yeah, it's almost not fair. The freshman, and he's not just a big possession type guy, always big, let's throw it up there, let him go get it. He had a 90-yard touchdown catch and left everybody last time out against Abilene Christian. He's been banged up a little bit too this year.
24 on the catch by Davis. This is a much more modest gain. Billy Kemp But it is enough to move those chains of the first down for Virginia.
Isaiah McDuffie that time. I had a tough time on picking between Max Richardson and Isaiah McDuffie. I went with Richardson because he doesn't have many more games left playing for Boston College, but both of them bring a load.
Armstrong. That pocket crumbles, deteriorates, and he's pulled down. Armstrong sacked. Luke Beckett for Boston College. The graduate student from Little Rock, Arkansas, makes the play defensively.
Decent coverage down the field. If he had a beat, he had a guy who had his guy beat. He's looking to the right side, and it's a little bit too late when he notices Davis there all alone in the end zone. Would have been an easy throw for the quarterback. Instead, it's going back the other way. 2nd and 19 now for Mendenhall's team.
Loss of 9 on first down. Pressure coming on Armstrong, and he gets sacked on consecutive plays. Jason Maitre comes in and sacks the quarterback.
Boy, Tim Lukabu, the defensive coordinator, draws it up perfectly here. A great opportunity to blitz. Maitre comes untouched, and boy, does he lay the wallop on Armstrong. Nice big clean hit for the sophomore left cornerback there. So now it's 3rd down and 27. Things look to be going pretty good until the flags and the sacks started coming out.
Loss of 8 on the 2nd consecutive sack. This out on the edge and complete. Wayne Talapapa had the grab from Armstrong. Isaiah McDuffie there to make the stop on the sideline in front of that Virginia bench. And now 4th down for the Cavs. And a field goal attempt coming up for Brian Delaney. They got 10 on the previous play, but well short of the first down. They get to get down to the 3-yard line. Couldn't do it. And Delaney 7 of 9 this season. This is a 38-yard attempt, and Delaney puts the Cavaliers on the board. Career field goal number 40 for Brian Delaney in a Cavaliers uniform. 5th most field goals in school history, and he's given him the early lead. For the last home game of the season for the Cavs, they're on the board first. They've now scored points in 14 straight quarters. And while we have a moment, let's take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by your local Ford dealer with James Bates.
All right, fly Eagles fly for BC. I know that's the Philadelphia Eagles victory song, but if they want a victory, I think they go up top and take advantage of the weakness in the secondary. They haven't been great covering Virginia defensively, and for Virginia, it's one at the line. Whose line is it anyway? Whose line is going to win this football game, both offensively and defensively? We've seen some strong play from that Wahoo defense. Offensively, they've got to clean it up. They've done a great job of protecting their quarterback this year, but 2 big sacks on that drive after they got down close. Fortunately, they come away with the field goal.
8:12 to go in our first quarter. Delaney hit the field goal. Virginia has the lead. Levy. That bounces off of Levy. Boston College able to maintain possession. Peter Stair happened to be in the right place at the right time as Levy was a couple of steps deep in the end zone, James.
Wow, we've special teams the last few weeks have been way too adventurous across the ACC. Georgia Tech and Duke, it was a mess last week, and a great job, Johnny on the spot, by Peter Stair, who may just get a few more carries here today as a running back with David Bailey being out. But a great job to pick it up, turn around and see what he can get. But usually Levy, very sure-handed, good receiver out of the backfield, as well as a running back.
1st and 10 for Boston College. And they'll run it with Travis Levy, the senior from Only, Maryland. And you got to imagine a couple of steps deep, James. He had every intention of coming out of the end zone for a return there, or why else do you catch it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And why else would you take your eyes off that ball? And that's what shows you the most, is he was taking a peek to see where he was going to turn those jets on, where his hole was. And fortunately, his teammate recovered that fumble up there. He hit his pads.
By the way, for Levy, his 47th game in an Eagles uniform. Grosel's pass in a bit of a congested area at the 25, but to the very capable hands of his tight end and leading receiver for the Eagles, Hunter Long, on the grab.
Wow, and you know what? Hey, Grosel on that 3rd and forever, he almost gets that first down with the big completion. And look at him here. In trouble, has to create, and threads the needle to big Hunter Long. Yeah, it's a big target, but that's a tough throw, especially when you're not used to all those bullets flying, those bodies coming around you. Grosel stepping up here again. He did a really good job when he came in, not just against Clemson earlier this year, but in that Louisville game last time out.
They got 12 yards on the pass play. Back to the ground game. And there's not a whole lot there for Pat Garwo, the redshirt freshman. Mandy Alonso able to plug it up for Virginia.
Another big hit. We've had some big licks already in this game. And the senior from Miami, Gulliver Prep, same place that Sean Taylor, great defender in his day, played his high school ball.
BC is coming off the win last Saturday at home against Louisville, 34-27. 435 yards of total offense for the Eagles, and that one was deflected from a pocket with heavy traffic around Grosel. Maybe Alonso, James.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not going to get to that quarterback, you get those hands up. And the only way you can get those hands up is if you begin that rush by using those hands and create separation with the big offensive lineman. Well-coached defense. You know both of these defenses with head coaches that are defensive specialists. They're always going to have the technique down. Nick Howell, the defensive coordinator here for Virginia. Let's see what he's got on 3rd and long.
Grosel to throw it. At the 40, incomplete. C.J. Lewis, number 11. He'll tell you what it is. First down as he beat Nick Grant in that secondary for Virginia.
Well, Nick Grant has been around for way too long. The senior, as they pick up the blitz in the middle and do a good job of it. There's Levy stepping up. You get them in traffic so they can't do any damage on you, and Nick Grant knows where they're trying to run that route. Lewis breaks it off right in front of him. It's an easy throw and catch. That's a big play guy there he's throwing it to in Lewis. He made an amazing one-handed grab in the end zone from Grosel against Louisville last week.
Couple of TD passes in that game for Grosel. They'll hand this one to Zay Flowers, trying to stretch it wide. They got 23 yards on the pass play to Lewis. Gam makes the tackle here. And now we're 5.5 minutes to go on a rapid first quarter from Scott Stadium.
You know, early on anyway, you can't tell that bodies are banged up. It's late in the season, because when these defenders on both of these teams here so far, when they get to the ball carrier, they're bringing those hips, and they're bringing that hat, and they're bringing the load. Got some physical plays, some big-time tackles, some old-school Eddie Shore hockey going on out there. Bringing the foil, Coach.
That was officially a pass for -3 for the Eagles. Grosel again goes to the forward pass and hits his man Travis Levy. Levy avoids a couple of tacklers and gets down to the 40-yard line. Mark him at about the 41 or 2. Zane Zandier on the stop for Virginia. Needed to get to the 41 for the first down, so 3rd and short for Coach Hafley's team after the 12-yard pass play.
Yeah, and that's a nice outlet right there. Get it to your captain, the senior. And we were just talking about how physical the defenses have been, but it was Levy bringing the load right there, getting a couple extra yards, make it 3rd and 1.
44% of the season on 3rd down for BC. That's 5th in the ACC, and it appears that they've got enough for another first down at the 40 with Travis Levy, the senior. 2 yards is enough to grease the chains and move them for the Eagles. Let's check in with Abby.
Guys, when I asked Dennis Grosel about him and Phil's relationship, Dennis said, when I found out Phil was going to be the starter, my attitude immediately switched to, well, what can I do for him this season? Well, now today, guys, Phil is on the sideline helping Dennis out as he is in the game today. And I asked Dennis, what has he learned from Phil this year? And he said, Phil taught me that not everyone coming to you in the pocket is going to tackle you.
Offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty, first down.
You know, and Abby, to take it a step further, imagine being Dennis Grosel, starting 7 games last year, and then having some new guy come in from South Bend, Indiana, and just take your job and to handle it like a professional. Yeah, of course, Grosel wants to be out there scrapping and playing. That shows right here, but it really says a lot about him.
Yeah, guys, confidence and strength in the pocket, something that Phil Jurkovec has, is exactly what Dennis has learned from him.
Here's Grosel, a little bit of a play fake, digs in and throws down by the 13, and that close to the pass play to C.J. Lewis, who had a beat on it.
Well, number 11, we were just bragging on you. You had the big one-handed catch. That was the toughest catch in America last week. And this one, was it just too easy? You want them to make it tough, and you know, too much time trying to run with these guys in the secondary. You give anybody that much time, even Deion Sanders in his prime can't hang, but C.J. Lewis needs to hang on to that one for Grosel.
Lewis was able to shake the defender, D'Angelo Amos, but couldn't hang on to the football. Another play fake. Another pass. Deep ball. Zay Flowers in stride. And that's a touchdown for Boston College. Flowers got behind Nick Grant, and he's got the TD grab. 45 yards on the play for the Eagles.
Wow, nice start for Grosel and a nice good play fake. They sell it, get everybody biting, and it's just too easy against this secondary. That's what I'm talking about. Fly, Eagles, fly. They're flying early. You know, a lot like North Carolina had success through the air. Sam Howell had a field day early. UVA found a way to get to the quarterback and shut it down, but they also need to shut down those big plays.
Boumeri has the extra point for Boston College. He's now 28 of 28 extra points, and there goes Zay.
Yeah, deep into the secondary. Big play, Zay from Fort Lauderdale. The 9-5-4 from the bottom all the way to the top. It's 7-3, BC.
You'll find we have a way about us. It comes from being unafraid of the hard things. Never.
And Grosel's going to look off and look the safeties off. It certainly looked like Nick Grant thought he had some help up top, and he's left trailing, and the ball's thrown perfectly with Amos getting a little bit too worried about the route down underneath. And there's the nice easy throw and catch and touchdown for the Eagles.
How about BC? 114 yards through the air so far. -7 rushing. Doesn't matter. 7-3 lead. Boston College. Shane Simpson, the deep man from the 5. Simpson wearing that number 11 in honor of Charles Snowden. Breaks a tackle down the sideline. Simpson to the 30, gets by one man. Spins away and down to the 20. Shane Simpson on the return.
And Charles Snowden says that jersey number looks pretty good running back that kickoff. Oh, wow. The senior linebacker, unfortunately, unable to go the rest of this season, and runs into the back of one of his own players, and then a couple nice little moves for Simpson, who usually wears the number 31, but wearing that number 11 to honor Charles Snowden, a fellow senior. Outstanding field position. It really has been the start here throughout the day.
73 yards on the return. This pass complete to Jana over the middle, near the 15-yard line from Armstrong. As we go down to Abby, and more on that number 11.
Yeah, you guys said it. Shane Simpson wearing that number 11 in honor of his teammate today. He said, I felt like 11 should be worn one more time in Scott Stadium. And guys, Charles Snowden said, the number doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the program. And I wanted to see that number 11 out there with my guys on senior day. Charles Snowden also tweeted out, get number 11 in the end zone. That's something that I haven't seen yet either, guys.
He almost got to the end zone. He's got the carry here into a BC roadblock near the 13-yard line. Shane Simpson against TJ Rayam, BC tackle, and Virginia is now into the CPI security red zone. They had an earlier visit, got a field goal out of that. Cavaliers for the season, 82% in scoring. Armstrong dragging some Eagles down inside the 10-yard line. Isaiah McDuffie on the tackle. Also Luke Beckett in the vicinity.
Beckett's been very active here early, a little too late though, and good job with the patience for Brennan Armstrong behind those big blockers. All you need is a couple. You know, it's Bryce Perkins. In years past, last couple of years, you used to get used to him just breaking those and taking it to the house. But just chipping away is all you need, just moving those chains. It's a fresh set of downs and a 1st and goal.
And they gave it to Thompson, 99. Short gain, 1:20 to go in the quarter. That return by Simpson of 73 yards, the longest this year for the Cavaliers, to put him in exceptional field position, and now 2nd and goal. Last 13 red zone trips for the Cavs, 10 touchdowns and 3 field goals. All kinds of window dressing as Thompson was running around. Now Armstrong lofts it to the end zone. That's incomplete. Looking for Mish, number 85. And so 3rd and goal, 55 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Nice coverage there by BC, and Armstrong just living to play another down, throwing it out of the back of the end zone.
Brennan Armstrong, the sophomore, from just inside the BC 9 on 3rd and goal. Quick release to the end zone, and it's incomplete. Looking for Lavelle Davis. Put some air under that one in the back corner of the end zone, but well defended by Jason Maitre, wearing number 3 for the Eagles.
Nice job by Maitre. Boy, does he have his hands full at 5'10", giving up almost a foot, but he's right there on him. He's going to watch those eyes and go up and just running out of real estate, really, just trying to put it up there. Give the big man a chance to go get it. 7th in the nation with, as far as freshmen go, with 374 receiving yards. Not going to happen right there. Here's another field goal try.
This one 26 yards away for Brian Delaney, and the kick is true. So now he's 2 for 2 in the first quarter with 47 seconds to go. So the 6 points on the board for Virginia come off the foot of Brian Delaney.
When our daughter and her kids moved in with us, our bargain detergent couldn't keep up.
Turns out it's mostly water.
So we switched back to Tide. One wash.
Tremendous job, especially the institutions in the ACC. Last drive for the Eagles ended in a long TD pass.
Well, and Grosel, they haven't skipped a beat. He's slinging it around, getting it to his big targets. And, of course, the capper there getting it to Zay Flowers for the touchdown. But the junior Dennis Grosel has been great here early on. In his first full drive, I guess we should expect it against Louisville in the win when he came in the 3rd quarter in relief for Phil Dracovic. 84 plays, or 84 yards, rather, 8 plays. A 44-yard run he had, fired up his sideline.
So far in the game, James Grosel, 6 of 9, 114 yards, and the TD toss to Zay Flowers, his 8th receiving touchdown of the season. 3rd TD pass of the year for Grosel. BC getting the ball back after the Delaney field goal. And what do you bet Travis Levy leaves that one alone this time, James?
Yeah, last time slammed off those shoulder pads, so.
You know, I think he was still thinking about it because he was pretty close to that football, right?
Well, that's the mind you have to have. It's almost like the mind of a defensive back. I mean, not every play, not every timeout is going to be perfection, and some of them are going to go the other way. You're going to have some mistakes, but you have to have a short memory, forget about it, and know that, have confidence in your ability. You got some more football to play, even though Travis Levy's a senior. He's, of course, going to try to return a couple.
Coach Hafley made an interesting point. He said, guys, you've got to bring the energy for this game because this could be our last. You just don't know what's going to happen as far as the schedule is concerned. BC will run it on 1st down. Travis Levy. Boston College playing its 11th game of the season, James. 4 yards on that previous play. They're 5-4 in conference play, winning their 5th ACC game of the season for the first time since '09. Now again, they are playing 10 ACC games this season instead of the league standard 8, but still quite an accomplishment for the Eagles. In fact, both of these teams have done so well with the COVID virus protocols and health and safety measures, and we certainly commend all of the schools working together in the ACC, trying to get these games on the schedule done, completed, and let these players have a moment out on the field. So Levy had that last run, but it's going to be our last play of the quarter. James, Boston College has a lead, but it's slim after one. 7-6, the Eagles lead, a long TD pass, 45 yards from Grosel to Flowers. That's the difference. End of one on the grounds in Charlottesville.
One app, one tap, that's that. One swipe, one slide, sing it back. One app running with elite QBs. Russell got the cannon throwing clutch.
Ball on its own 31-yard line. 3rd and 4 for the Eagles, leading 7-6 against the Virginia Cavaliers. Senior day for the Cavaliers. Grosel comes out of the pocket, doesn't get far, did get the ball away, but not enough on it to complete the pass. Nick Jackson providing the pressure for the Virginia D, and it's 4th down for the Eagles.
Good job by the Virginia D to keep charging and finally get there. It took a little while as they tried to bring 4, and Grosel, just like Jerkovic, standing in there taking a hit, but that one hitting the ground as he was rushed. So a nice stop for the Wahoos.
Billy Kemp is the return man at his 30-yard line. Carlson to punt. It's a low liner, driving Kemp back to the 20. Surveys the situation, tries to turn it upfield. Powers his way past the 30-yard line. Boston College thought it may have come out at the tail end of the play. The officials don't agree. And Virginia will maintain possession and start just beyond its own 30-yard line.
I think it'll be further back. I think there was a flag thrown, and it's going to be a block in the back on Virginia.
During the return, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 10. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So backup running back Paris Jones. And it was right in front of the official, and he just it was blatant, and he knew right as he was doing it he was wrong. It was almost like he just couldn't control it. So worst field position to start now for Bronco Mendenhall's offense. There you go on Lamont. You see how he almost tried to pull up. I can't stop once I've started. It stings.
From the 18 for Virginia. 1st and 10 for Armstrong. The left-hander lofts it past the 20. That ball bouncing around on the natural surface here at Scott Stadium and incomplete. Looking for Simpson.
Armstrong's a good thrower. He's a better thrower than that. He's got to put it out in front of his back coming out of that backfield and give him a chance. Use that momentum. 1, to have a catchable ball, and 2, use that momentum to go and be able to turn it up.
Tempo from the Cavaliers up the middle. Just past the 20-yard line with Simpson. So very quickly now, 3rd down in the early stages of the 2nd quarter for Virginia. 3 yards on the last play to set up 3rd and 7. Just 1 for 3 on 3rd down conversions in the game for the Cavaliers. They're just 37% on the season in this situation, 11th in the ACC. Armstrong sails this one too far. Couldn't hook up with Rashawn Henry. And now 4th down for Virginia.
Well, the shame of it all, if you're a Virginia fan, is this was a defense that couldn't get on the same page, and it just took them so long to snap that football and get that play in. They had them beat in so many spots, unable to take advantage on a 3rd down. Here's the quick kick.
Nash Griffin bounces this one. Jalen Gill will stay away from it, and Virginia will down it at the 35-yard line. 7-6, Boston College in the 2nd.
I'm looking for my sister.
I heard she's with the YPJ now.
He said she died in a terror.
Is that fantastic? Those were the messages that were on the big scoreboard in the end zone for the seniors who were honored prior to the game today. The Zandier family, the last ones there from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, watching ZZ Stop. Right now, they're watching the Cavaliers trail 7-6. Grosel wants to unload. Sends this one down to the 30. A leaping catch is made. Jalen Gill got that one. Plenty for a first down for BC. Another long pass play for the Eagles.
Boy, and here's Nick Grant again. They're having so much trouble. Devontae Cross gets turned around, turns over the wrong shoulder, and then Nick Grant goes to try to find that ball in the air and just falls on his back. You know, the ball just sat up there. It wasn't like it was a bullet. It hung up there for a while from Grosel. Defenders for Virginia have struggled in the secondary, but they've gotten to the point they've got to go make a play on some of these footballs. Could be a long day.
Grosel's parents just watched a 35-yard pass play, followed up by the rush by Travis Levy. Forced out by Cross.
Here comes this balance from Frank Signetti's offense. Zandier need to get up there and bring that load and wrap up a little bit. Levy's running hard. You see the big bodies there for Boston College. Those big hosses up front able to get up and move. And then when you got a back that can get going north and south like that, full head of steam, it can get dangerous. Just ask ZZ Stop right there.
7 yards on that previous play. 155 total yards in the game so far for the Eagles against just 62 for Virginia. Levy carries it for Boston College. Sets up 3rd and short.
Levy's going to get the whole load today as David Bailey again was banged up in that Louisville game, unable to go, like Phil Jerkovic. There's a 3rd down and 2.
Bailey's out with an upper body injury after running for 53 yards and 2 touchdowns in the win against Louisville last week. That's inside the 20 and looks like it's going to be good enough for a first down. Travis Levy slams into that Virginia defense, stopped by Zane Zandier, but not before a first down for the Eagles.
Good job again by that offensive line, and this is what happens when you're after balance in that offense, and it sure makes it easy on a quarterback who's not used to starting every game out there. Grosel's been great. It makes it even easier on him when you're able to run the football and pound it, and you get that defense thinking that they've got to stop that run, and then the play action pass can open up a lot of things in an offense.
Grosel has the time through the progression. Now he's dancing around. Heaves that one down near the goal line inside the 5, and Virginia picks it off. Interception, Devontae Cross.
And there you go, talking it over with Hafley. Grosel, it wasn't the smartest decision. A lot of trouble there. The pressure coming in the backfield in a hurry. And he just launches it up. And finally, somebody wearing a blue uniform goes up and makes a play on that ball floating in the air. And it's Devontae Cross, who's with the football when we return.
Over the last 4 years, it's just truly a testament to them. They are the reason UVA football is having success. So pretty special day, guys, for all these seniors.
Right you are, Abby. And little did they know what they were signing up for. Wait a minute. We don't get our number that we've always had our whole life, our lucky numbers?
See if number 5 is lucky for Armstrong on the carry.
We aren't allowed to have a Virginia logo on our workout gear in the offseason until we earn it. Hold on, I mean, just flipped everything on its head. It's so interesting, all the motivational tools and that Bronco and his staff that they use, but it certainly is paying off. And guys like Devontae Cross be the first to tell you.
9 yards on the run by Brennan Armstrong, sophomore quarterback for Virginia. This program went 9-5 last year, Coastal Division champs, and all the way to the Orange Bowl, a loss against Florida. That pass is incomplete, looking for Thompson, so now 3rd and short. But Abby's right. With what they were able to accomplish last year, James, and trying to follow it up this year as well.
Yeah, the lefty with the quick release and a nice throw right on the money. Thompson's got to hang on.
Short yardage on 16 of its last 18 home games. Trailing BC. 10:25 to go in the second. So glad that you're with us for ACC College Football. Tom Wormy, James Bates, Abby LaBar's on the sidelines. Eric Kendall is our producer. Lonnie Dale, director. Mike Voigt pushing the buttons, technical director. And our outstanding ACC football production staff with you from Charlottesville, Virginia. So pleased to be here for ACC football on the last home game of the year for Virginia. Pads are popping down by the 25-yard line on the rush from Simpson. Barlow on the tackle for BC. Simpson usually wears that number 31, as we told you. He's got that number 11 on in honor of Charles Snowden, his teammate, injured in their most recent game a couple of weeks ago against Abilene Christian, where Armstrong threw 4 TD passes. He's off and running again. He gets cut down just short of the 35-yard line. Deion Jones came up to knock him off his pins.
Here's this misdirection. A lot of window dressing in the back and eyes going everywhere. If you're playing that defense, the play before, it was a misdirection, a counter that came back against them for the big hitter. And there they're going to move the chains. First down, second down. That's a nice 1-2 punch on back-to-back plays.
10 yards on that play. Pressure comes from the left to Armstrong. Got the ball away and complete. That is Kemp trying to stay upright. They'll give him out to the 38-yard line. Maitre finally brought him down.
This is a heck of a snag. We just saw Thompson, who got the alligator arms across the middle. There's a guy down here for Boston College. It's Deion Jones.
Yep, Jones down for BC. They'll attend to him, and we'll step aside for a moment.
You're bought.
The Los Angeles Lakers are NBA champions. Gear up with the official locker room.
Jones 5 in white.
I guess that left leg caught underneath one of his teammates' body. Hopefully he's okay. Mike Palmer unable to play in this game. His backup at free safety. Walking around over there.
So number 35, Jalen Williams, comes in, James, to start the day, 3rd on the depth chart. Thompson, direct snap. And he's on the BC side of the 50, down at about the 47-yard line.
Well, Keytaon Thompson, the transfer from Mississippi State, head coach Mike Leach, good buddies, those Texas Tech Red Raiders, with Robert Anai. And Thompson didn't quite fit that air raid. He was a quarterback there. He played a lot at Mississippi State in years past. And Anai and company said, come on up here. We got a spot for you. And they realized in his competing for the starting job that he was a heck of a runner. Receiver as well.
15 yards on that run. This pass is complete. Rashawn Henry. No BC defenders around him, and he walks into the end zone for the Cavaliers.
Oh, a nice big strike here, and we've seen it. There's the pump fake to draw some guys off, but you still got bodies falling down in the secondary. We saw it for Virginia earlier on the big play for Boston College offensively. And it's not a wet field, although it rained last night, but it's too many guys on the ground. You can't make plays on the ground.
So Henry has his 4th TD grab of the season. Breaking over the middle and breaking free of the BCD. Into the end zone. TD pass for Armstrong. 13-7. 13-7. Cavaliers have taken the lead on the TD catch by Rashawn Henry. He's got 4 catches this season. They are all for touchdowns. The most recent one, 47 yards from Brennan Armstrong. who now has 16 TD passes. It's our Yellowwood 5-star drive summary for Virginia.
Yeah, and those big plays, they had 3 big touchdown catches from Brennan Armstrong against Abilene Christian. And remember, we just told you, number 1 and 2 at that free safety spot injured. Deion Jones, Mike Palmer didn't make the trip. And right there in the back pedal, but unable when he opens up those hips. He just falls down on the ground. That was Jalen Williams in a bad angle coming from the other safety. The secondary in both of these teams right now are a little bit sloppy and not very sharp with their breaks and their angles and eyes and not really making plays up on the ball when the ball's up in the air. Too late in the season and too good of defense, 2 good defenses, and they're better than this. They both need to just catch their breath and start playing some fundamentally sound football.
Levy, the deep man for Armstrong now, James. 6 of 12 passing, 95 yards, and he's got 9 rushes for 35 yards. He went crazy against Abilene Christian. 4 TD passes, and 3 of those of 90 yards, 56 and 52 for touchdown passes for Armstrong. He's got another one. Here's a return from Levy, and he's up in the neighborhood of the 25-yard line.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Against Abilene Christian, they're outmanned. You know, you'd expect to see one safety fall down, another one take a poor angle, and then they go have a big hitter. But it's, you know, you don't expect that. This is from this defense, this Boston College defense, or this Virginia defense. So they need to clean things up in the secondary if they want to win this football game here, the last home game for the Cavaliers, and the last game of the regular season for Boston College here today.
So Grosel up to 149 yards passing, trying to add to the total. Flips it to Long. That will be a catch at about the 28 to Hunter Long. Leading the nation in receptions for tight ends. Matt Gamm knocked him out.
Nice recognition defensively by Gann of that color just coming across the face, the big target, and nobody open down the field on that boot. So a nice defensive play. He'll give up that little 2-3 yarder all day.
Long now has 52 receptions on the season. Best in the nation for Grosel was pressured, got it away near the 30, but nowhere to go for Garwo. That was Gamm again, James, coming up to make the stop.
Yeah, getting kind of active, Gamm. And this is, you know, keep those guys in front of you. The big plays, that's why they'll crush a defense. But you keep this ball in front of you, it gives you opportunity with the big lick coming up. You can cause fumbles, interceptions, make them earn it. See if they make them earn it here with 6 yards to go to move the chains on 3rd and 6.
Boston College 3 of 5 on 3rd down. Grosel moving to his right, pursued and throwing, deflected, incomplete, looking for Long. Matt Gamm got a piece of it. And he did a lot of the heavy lifting defensively in that sweet sequence for Virginia.
I'll say, I mean, we've talked about Snowden. We talked about Noah Taylor not being out there today. Nick Jackson's been special, the sophomore, and of course ZZ Stop. But it was Gann, the senior from Dallas, Texas. This truly is senior day, not just offensively, but defensively. Everybody making plays. It's a senior for UVA.
Billy Kemp receives it at the 31. Sidesteps one man and gets to the 39 or so for Virginia. Just inside of 6 minutes to go in our second quarter. Boston College had a 7-6 lead until Armstrong aired it out to Rashawn Henry for 47 yards, putting Virginia in front. Again, the Cavaliers are seeking their first win in the series against Boston College.
Yeah, I was here a couple years ago when A.J. Dillon made his first start and just ran wild. It was a beatdown here at home, which, as you mentioned earlier, it doesn't happen very often. Here in Charlottesville, the Wahoos losing.
2017, losing to Boston College 41-10 and allowing 512 yards of total offense to the Eagles. This is over the middle near the 40-yard line. Tony Poljan It's another senior getting in the mix. Muse on the tackle.
Yeah, he saw his family earlier on the bump back from break from Lansing, Michigan. And look at the big man, 6'7", 270-pounder, and just leaping over guys. Nice big target, Poljan. 7th in the NCAA from tight ends with 30 catches.
There's an open man at the 10. It's Henry. 5th catch of the season. The first one not for a touchdown this year. 5 catches, 4 touchdowns.
Fish out of water.
Efficiency personified.
He doesn't know what it's like. He does not celebrate for 6 points after a nice catch. Good job to find him there in that window in between there in the zone. Robert Anae's quarterback, Brennan Armstrong.
2 catches for 76 yards for Henry and a touchdown. Back into the red zone, Virginia. Fake on the play. Thompson to the end zone. And he high steps it in. Thompson TD for Virginia.
When you get all those bodies going every which way, it's so tough on a defense. And then on top of it all, you hesitate for one beat, and you've got a speedster like Thompson that you're trying to corral. Man, it's almost not fair. Keytaon Thompson has been doing it all, even taking snaps at quarterback for this offense this year.
Second rush TD of the season for Thompson. He threw a little bit of a fake with the football and then just turned it upfield.
Yeah, and you get guys going the other direction. They got to stay at home. The fake reverse, and now that's set up for later if they need it, or perhaps even next week against Justin Fuente's Virginia Tech Hokies. You know, you got to be prepared. It takes a lot of time to prepare for that. But everybody's got to stay in place, and we got the offensive line and opening up those holes like that. All 99 has to do is put his foot in the ground and go north and south, an easy trot into the end zone. It was Keytaon Thompson who had that fake punt at the end of the North Carolina game to seal the deal. It was a huge play call for Bronco Mendenhall and executed very well by Thompson, who had to create and go make it happen.
And a huge win against then number 15 North Carolina here at Scott Stadium October 31st, Halloween, 44-41. The Cavaliers in victory.
Love seeing that Charles Snowden down there. I mean, you'd think he's a freshman. He's just the energy, just trying to cheer his guys on. That's what it's all about here, is taking care of your brothers.
Fair catch made. Levy. So they'll start at the 25. A game against North Carolina and the win on Halloween snapped a 4-game losing streak to North Carolina. And now Boston College back on offense with Dennis Grosel at quarterback. In for Phil Jerkovic. Shoulder and knee injuries keeping the Notre Dame transfer out of the lineup for the Eagles this afternoon. When we kicked it off, it was 50 degrees. A little bit chillier now as we approach 5 o'clock on the eastern seaboard. Travis Levy on the carry.
There's Grosel's numbers, 9 of 15. He's been hit quite a bit. Just ask Sam Howell for North Carolina. You mentioned that Halloween night. Boy, did this defense ever get after him. He made some big plays against him, but he paid the price. They were very physical, a lot of sacks.
Grosel's pass complete near the marker to Hunter Long at that 35-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 34 and call it 3rd and 1. And we're inside of 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. So glad that you're with us for ACC football.
That's a big 1 yard that you left that meat on the bone there. Know where you are on the field. Do all you can to try to move those chains here. It'd be a shame if they can't get this 1 yard here. They really need to keep this offense on the field. We'll get it.
He'll slam it up the middle with Levy. This is the 5th time the teams have met as ACC opponents. Told you that BC's won every meeting between the programs as they meet for the 7th time. And we touched upon that last meeting, James. You mentioned in 2017 where BC had the big 41-10 victory. The teams also met back in 1994, James. It was the CarQuest Bowl. You remember that one?
I don't remember that one, but I probably watched some of it.
In 94, BC won the CarQuest Bowl against Virginia 31-13. Glenn Foley, 391 yards passing. He was the MVP. Drakovic's out. Grosel is in. 12 yards on the rush. And that's a first down for Boston College right at midfield.
Yeah, look at the jersey of Grosel, still with 3 minutes left in this first half. And that was one thing with Jurkovic. He took a lot of hits. You know, he's the big body, like the Big Ben type, but just too many hits. They've got to take better care of these quarterbacks.
Play fake. Safety valve. Zay Flowers wrapped up by D'Angelo Amos.
Great job by Amos to realize who he's dealing with in the open field, as tough as it comes in the ACC, to bring down the sophomore Zay Flowers. So you react and you go and you make the play before he can get turned and get facing you and give you a shake and really do damage in the open field. Don't give him that chance in dropping him for a loss of 3.
Flowers with 8 receiving touchdowns this season. He's got one in this game of 45 yards in the first quarter from Dennis Grosel. Back to pass. Grosel zips it in between the defenders, 35-yard line, and caught. Good looking pass as he found Jalen Gill.
Jalen Gill, the transfer from Ohio State. Kind of like Coach Hafley, just there in the middle of that zone behind Zane Zandier and those linebackers, and Grosel doing a great job of standing in there and putting it right on the money to move those chains. Big throw.
17 yards on the play. Grosel hitting Gill, the sophomore. 52 yards receiving for Gill. Here's Grosel again, trying to send it in the air. Got an open man and into the end zone. Hunter Long was wide open, and Boston College has a TD. 36 yards on the play to Hunter Long.
Wow, gritty. Dennis Grosel knows he's going to get hit. Got Zane Zandier, the linebacker, with the blitz coming around the edge, about to take a shot on him. But he's got big Hunter Long running down the sideline with nobody anywhere around him. Gets that ball to him, and it's all new football game with a minute left to go in the first half.
So we've got a 6-point ball game thanks to the 5th TD grab of the season for Hunter Long, the junior.
There he is, lined up on the line. He's just going to run a little wheel route, and peeking back into that backfield is Nick Jackson, the sophomore, who's got the responsibilities in a blitz like that, but he peeked after the little out, thinking he could peek back there on the out route and perhaps have a chance to go pick one off, undercut it. Instead, 80 and number 6 had different plans and just making it easy.
How about 5 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown for Long? One of 2 outstanding tight ends involved in our game. Tony Poljan, the tight end and the senior for Virginia. Noah Gray, we've seen a lot of him this season as well for Duke. He set the school record for receptions for a career at Duke for a tight end. But leading the way is definitely Long, and he led the way right into the end zone. Simpson. As it continues to get chillier here in Scott Stadium. 1:01 to go in our second quarter. Boston College with the counter punch and the TD pass from Grosel to Long.
Yeah, as it gets chillier and they continue to hit. I mean, another shot there on special teams. And when it gets cold, those pads, they hurt a little bit more there inside that helmet. And you got to be tough. And both of these schools are used to playing in the cold weather, though.
45 degrees as we play into the latter stages of our second quarter. Inside of a minute to go now. Talapapa.
And with that nice gainer on first down, I'd expect this, right over the football. Let's see what you got. And 3 timeouts. See if you can go down and put some points on the board. You've got a pretty good field goal kicker at the very least.
Armstrong's pass into the BC secondary is intercepted near the 40-yard line by Muse. And he goes out near midfield, and a flag comes out at the end of the play. So Muse with his 3rd interception of the season. Flag came out well after the pick by Muse.
Well, this interception is going to stand, and I think it's Cam Horsley, the freshman from Riverton, New Jersey, that's going to apply the pressure and force Armstrong to just launch this out there in a hurry. And a great job just powering through.
The result of the play is an interception. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, intercepted team number 15. 15-yard penalty, first down, Boston College.
Oh, so this will go against Boston College, and it looked like it was a retaliation. As right when we left that shot, it looked like there was some pushing going on. It looked like it started with a Cavalier. So what looked to be really good field position here with 31 seconds left, and thought they were going to add on some more. It goes the other way.
So, James, we think the identification might be one number off, because number 15 is Danny Dalton. He's a tight end. He's a backup tight end. So we thought it might have been Max Richardson, number 14. Either way, BC ball, 35-yard line. Boston College now with 21 takeaways this season. That's 3rd most in the nation. Levy is open over the middle. Gallops past the 45-yard line to about the 47. Nick Jackson makes the tackle. BC
timeout.
Trying to make
Boston
the most.
College, their first 30-second timeout.
Of these last couple minutes of this half. They just scored a touchdown on a pass play from Grosel to Hunter Long of 36 yards. 2nd TD pass of the game for Grosel, and the 4th of the season for him.
Well, and it came on a bust in coverage from Virginia. And as they get this chance here, Boston College using the first of their 3 timeouts with 23 seconds left. They got to make sure everybody's on the same page, because that's the last thing they can have happen is have another bust in coverage and give up a big free play right before halftime and give Boston College the lead.
So you've noticed some of the folks in the stands, both from the Virginia side and the BC side. Our maximum capacity allowed today, 250 fans to witness this last home game for Virginia. They were supposed to play at Florida State last week. There's no word on the future of that game, but it's not listed in future schedules in the ACC. Grosel just flipped it away at the last second to Levy. Hustling out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Should have a first down for BC. It was Elliott Brown running in on Grosel, but he got that one away.
How about that? Brown had him wrapped up. Grosel, he's not the great big body that Phil Jerkovic is, but he stands in there strong just like Phil does, and able to sling that one out there, and then Levy does some damage.
11 yards for the first down. This one also goes out of bounds at the 35-yard line to Hunter Long. It's on target. Nick Jackson forced him out. And Grosel's put up some impressive numbers, James, in this first half. 16 of 22, 239 yards, couple of TDs, 1 interception, and 7 yards on the last play to Hunter Long.
And getting these good reps. Remember, this is the last regular season game, you know, hoping they'll play in a bowl game, but you never know. So big experiences here, too.
That pass was caught as Lewis came back to catch it. They'll say he stayed in bounds. They had the clock still rolling, in a timeout, Boston College.
Timeout, Boston College. Their second, 30-second timeout.
There you see a shot of Aaron Boumeri over there, the kicker for Boston College, who's, man, he looks like Ray Finkel in that headshot there down at the bottom. He's had a hip problem that he's been dealing with, but able to work through it. And he's going to come out here and try to boot one and continue to chip away at that lead. It's 20-14.
His career long is 45. That was last year at Louisville. You see what he's done this season with the 41-yarder. He's done that twice this season, at home against Georgia Tech and also at home against Notre Dame. 251 yards passing for Grosel in this first half. Now a 40-yard attempt. Aaron Boumeri went 2 for 2 in the game against Louisville last Saturday. There were whistles before the kick by Boumeri. Penalty markers out as he hit the upright on the attempt.
Offside, defense number 30, jumping in the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That'll help.
Boumeri is 27 of 37 in his career, 15 field goals this season. And he's made his last 7. So now adjust that to a 35-yarder for Boumeri. Trying to cut that Virginia lead to 3 at the half. Boumeri rips that one through into the net and good. How about 8 in a row for Boumeri, and he makes it from 35 yards away on what will be the last play of this first half.
That's terrific. It looked like Virginia was starting to pull away with the momentum in this game, but Jeff Hafley's Eagles sticking around there. A couple big plays and then the big interception, and they converted into 3 quick points to end this first half. We've got ourselves a ball game, a 3-point game here at halftime.
And Boumeri also had the game winner with just 3 seconds left in regulation against Texas State back in late September, 24-21, Boston College. And he makes that field goal attempt, the 28th made field goal of his career, and cuts the lead to 3 at halftime. Cavaliers up 20-17, and we go to Abby.
Coach, I know you didn't want to see that interception, but your offense seemed to find a rhythm. What did you like
here in the second half? And Jurkovic, boy, wishing he could be out there. I'm sure Boston College Eagle fans are too, but you know what? Grosel, who was the starter 7 games last year, has been just fine. Like you mentioned, Jurkovic type numbers, or shall we say Grosel type numbers, because it's his show tonight, and he's doing a great job. You listen to his head coach, it's exactly what they expected. And they expected to have some fun playing football, and we expect 2 more good quarters coming up right now.
Simpson waits for the Longman kickoff. Simpson, 20. Powers past the 25-yard line. Virginia with the football and the lead. Start the second half, working on a 3-game winning streak. After 2 weeks ago defeating Abilene Christian 55-15. 147 yards passing for Armstrong, and the TD pass in the second quarter. 47 yards to Henry. On senior day for these Cavaliers, which has turned into senior night as the temperature continues to drop in the mid-40s as we play early in the third. Thompson on the carry. Just something cool about seeing a 99 in the backfield after a 3-yard gain.
Well, how about when we were missing Brennan Armstrong at quarterback out with the concussion, and it was Lindell Stone with that 36 that we've come to love with the backup quarterback.
With the hockey goalie number on. That's to the sideline in front of the BC bench and caught. Billy Kemp, Jason Maitre had a first quarter sack and a tackle right there on the receiver Kemp. Third and 3 after a 4-yard gain.
Keep an eye on 99 in these situations. 99 and 5 have been the big go-to guys on third down.
Armstrong has to exit the pocket up the middle, first down, 38-yard line. Brennan Armstrong. Beckett took him to the turf, but not before a first down.
Right, Tom, and right on cue. I mean, it's just what he does best. Just keeps it alive. Told you earlier how big he was on third downs throwing the football. But fourth down, which they've gone for a lot of them, he's been 5 of 6 on fourth down conversions, running it and averaging 12 yards a carry in that situation. There he had plenty to move the chains.
10 carries and 40 yards for Armstrong. Little razzle gadget action over the middle, and a diving attempt is incomplete at the 40. 87 was Tony Poljan. A lot of effort, didn't get the desired result.
Nice job by Tim Lukabu's defense here. I told you earlier, on the touchdown run with Thompson, they faked this, and you knew they were setting it up. It was coming. Not only was the reverse there, but the pitch back to the quarterback. Everybody's in place. Nothing happening here. A great job. Brandon Seabass has been so big for this defense this season.
Yeah, he had that 97-yard fumble return touchdown against Notre Dame. Gave BC a 21-7 lead, but they couldn't hang on against the Irish at home for the Eagles. Flag on the play.
False start. Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That's Davis for Virginia, the outstanding freshman receiver. How about Davis? He averages almost 27 yards per catch. Best in the ACC. Not hard to figure that out, but was flagged for the infraction.
Well, he's had the longest catch in the ACC this year with that 90-yarder.
Armstrong is the player in motion. Started the play out wide.
You got to be ready for everything here when you're facing them defensively.
The lefty, complete. Tony Poljan pinballs off a couple of Eagles and get past his own 45-yard line. Isaiah McDuffie making the tackle for Boston College. McDuffie coming into the game third in the nation, 94 tackles. And McDuffie had 16 tackles, James, in the game against Notre Dame, a career high. Third down for Virginia. That's going to be short. Driven back, negative play, Armstrong. And Thompson with the football.
Well, it's a nice job. Great job there in the middle by Big Boozy, as they call him, to just get rid of that blocker. Just shuck him and go make the play. And that's the one thing, when you've got Levy back there, even when you got Brennan Armstrong, you got a guy that's going to put his nose down and try to go dig and get a couple. It's not the body type that you've got with Thompson, able to stuff him and get off the field here defensively. Good job, BC.
Nash Griffin punts. Jalen Gill meets it at the 18 with a head of steam and then gets pushed out of bounds in the neighborhood of the 25-yard line. Let's take a timeout. 12:26 to go in the third. BC and Virginia.
As a human ski lift.
United States back in 1819. And here we are in 2020. First year of football was 1888 for the Virginia program. Grosel throws back the other way. Flowers scampering out of bounds, short of the 30. You want more history, James?
Yeah, keep going, please.
All right, let's see what else I have here.
Do it. Hit me.
Boston College, their first year of football, 1893. This is their 122nd year of collegiate football for the Boston College Eagles.
Wow.
Remember, they were members of the Big East from the early 90s to 2004 and then transitioned into the ACC. Miami and Virginia Tech in with BC. That's Flowers adjusting to the football. Past midfield down the sidelines. They'll whistle the play dead. Flowers almost got away from King. Just barely stepped out. And where will they say he stepped out? At the 46.
Yeah, you've got some injuries, but Tom, this is just another great big bust defensively. and nobody there for Zay Flowers. You see a couple guys getting mixed up. Eventually, Cohen King's going to get over there. But still, these guys, boy, and lucky that Zay Flowers wasn't able to stay in bounds right there. But that's exactly what happened on the Hunter Long touchdown, little wheel route, and he snuck out, and it was an easy throw, an easy touchdown. You gotta.
Yeah, they got 36 yards on the long touchdown that you referenced, James. The previous play to Flowers was for 26. And there's Levy on the rush. And Zane Zandier, the senior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, makes the stop of Levy after 3 yards. This is a fun football game, James. 20-17. What a first year for that guy, right? I mean, come on.
Picked to finish last in the ACC and trying to move to 7-4. This is their last game here today. And just having a blast with these guys, winning football games.
Grosel wants to air it out down by the goal line. Fight for the football. Virginia says it has it. Wrestle for the football. And it was picked off in the end zone. Nick Grant. Nick Grant in the end zone for Virginia, fighting with Zay Flowers. And he wins the battle.
I got on them a little bit earlier because they weren't going up and making plays on this ball in the air. Go up and high pointed. These cornerbacks for Virginia are long-bodied, long limbs. Nick Grant's a senior, and here he comes underneath as that ball floats, and then it's who wants it more, the sophomore or the senior. Nick Grant comes away with it, and it's another interception down near the goal line for this Virginia secondary. The first one going to Cross, and this one to Grant.
Second pick of the year for Grant. That's Simpson. How about that replay and camera work, James, to see the interception for Grant in the end zone as he took it away from Zay Flowers, who already has a touchdown catch in this game in the first quarter of 45 yards. Armstrong put some sizzle on that one. The two BC defenders just slammed into one another as the pass went whizzing by Terrell Jana. And on top of that, there's a penalty marker out there. That's Josh DeBerry, the sophomore from Grosse Pointe Park, Michigan. And he ran into his teammate.
Kind of slips coming out of that break, and then, that's tough. The lower body. Remember, they've already lost Mike Palmer. He's not here. Deion Jones was hurt. Let's hope he's okay.
Pass interference, defense, number 21. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
You heard the call was on DeBerry, but the BC training staff will attend to the injured player for Boston College. That's Josh DeBerry.
Next time you carry out 3-topping Domino's pizza.
Was on the team when they faced Virginia in 2018, but he did not make the trip because he got a phone call from his family that he needed to come home and be with his older brother Jordan, who passed away from colon cancer shortly after at the age of 24. Brandon and Bryce Sebastian, both brothers on this Eagle team, are playing for something so much bigger than themselves. I asked Brandon about it earlier this week, what kind of emotions playing Virginia means to him, and he said, well, actually, it's pretty cool because during that game in 2018, my teammates were all writing Jordan's name on their cleats, their taped wrists, and then they ended up getting the win. So they were sending me and my brother all sorts of photos in support of Jordan. So, guys, Brandon said today he just wants to come out here, give it all he's got for this team, help them get a win, and maybe even a pick six, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, Abby continues to play so hard for him and for his team. He's made big plays this year.
Armstrong running up the middle of the field to get to the goal line, and he's in. Brennan Armstrong running away from the Boston College defense for the Cavalier touchdown.
Oh, coming back out of a break, and here you go, the misdirection again, sending guys flying, and again, you've got another body on the ground, taking advantage of it and taking advantage of the big blocking up front. Armstrong to the house and in the paint. How about that? Virginia with a great big touchdown coming out of that break.
The 5th rushing touchdown of the season for Armstrong as Delaney adds the extra point. 60 yards on the play. That's a career long and the longest rush for the Cavaliers this season.
Robert and I said he's not quite the quarterback like Bryce Perkins. He said those guys run for like 300 yards. A couple more of those and a little breath of fresh air, and maybe he is on his way to being the quarterback.
27-17, all thanks to Brennan Armstrong, a 60-yard touchdown run. And guys, Brennan Armstrong has just really taken off in the second half of this season. And I asked him, what was the turning point for you? And he said, honestly, it was that injury that I suffered against NC State when I had to sit out a game against Wake Forest. It really just opened my eyes. He said he sat back and reflected. The first half of the season, he knew he wasn't really playing well, and he was just kind of all in his head. But when he had to sit and watch Wake Forest on TV instead of getting to travel with his teammates, he said, I just realized how grateful I was for the opportunity to play with this team, and I never wanted to take that for granted again. So guys, the second half of the season, he said he's just been ready to give it all he's got, playing as hard as he could for the rest of his team.
Well, he sure has. He's catching his breath over there. A well-deserved rest, and that shot by NC State was on and by Tanner Engel, and boy, am I surprised. Man, that's they're glad to have him back out there, though. See if this defense get a stop here.
5 yards deep. There's no return from Levy. So for Virginia, 318 total yards. Armstrong has 164 through the air, and right now he's got 100 rushing. That last drive was 2 plays, 80 yards, 60 yards on the run and score from Armstrong. 11 carries for those 100 yards. If he can keep it at 100 or more, he'd be the first Virginia player this season to rush for 100 yards or more. Other side of the coin, Dennis Grosel, 281 yards, a career-high day for Grosel.
His 2 interceptions have been balls that have been kind of thrown up for grabs. Other than that, man, has he thrown a pretty football, and he's had some easy targets to hit with some open receivers.
Grant and Cross have the interceptions for Virginia. Pat Garwo, number 24, the redshirt freshman, Levittown, Pennsylvania. Again, David Bailey, top BC back, out with an upper body injury, not available for this game. Also Phil Jerkovic. That was Garwo, and he got knocked down, cut out at the ankles. Joey Blunt, number 29, makes the play.
Joey Blunt's been banged up a little bit. The senior, good to have him back out there.
3rd and 5 for Grosel. Ooh, that was nearly intercepted as well.
That's the sophomore linebacker, Nick Jackson, out of Atlanta, who's averaging almost 11 tackles a game, second in the ACC, and Charles Snowden loves it. Almost another linebacker scoring a touchdown, perhaps. They've had 2 big ones the last couple weeks, and a great job there as you look at the replay by Hunter Long to make sure it wasn't picked. That was all Hunter Long. Otherwise, it's 6 the other way. Way to turn into the defender.
Carlson the punt. This is Billy Kemp. At his own 29, he'll go no further. Well covered by the Eagles on the punt from Carlson.
You know, Tom, but that last play, the almost interception, is a perfect example of why you come back to that football, or why you high point the football. And as an offensive player, of course, that's what you're taught. But even as a defensive player, when that ball's in the air, you don't sit and wait on it, because a smart receiver will turn into the defender. You got to go and you got to come back and meet that ball. A nice job by Hunter Long to at least give his team a chance to punt it away.
Armstrong. Complete Henry, 45-yard line, and then a group tackle by Boston College to bring him down. 10-point lead for Virginia. 8.5 minutes to go in the third. They get the first down of the previous play.
And what had it been before these last 2 catches for 17? Henry had 4 catches, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He's just got 19 on that last play, too, for Henry.
He's slipping now. He's just getting first downs.
His TD catch in the second quarter was 47 yards. Brennan Armstrong has a TD pass and a TD run. A couple of Delaney field goals as well for the Cavaliers. That pass is a strike near the 40-yard line. Billy Kemp, the fourth, wearing number 4 and making the catch. Junior, Highland Springs, Virginia.
And, you know, and Armstrong continues to distribute the football around, and usually it ends up in number 4's hands. He's had 2 games, Clemson and NC State, with 10 catches, and he's tied for 3rd, I believe. Olamide Zaccheaus has had 4 games of 10-plus catches back in 2018. Boy, was he fun to watch here on the grounds when he was a Cavalier.
14 yards on the last pass play. Throwing on the run near the 15. Going up to grab it, Lavelle Davis.
This ball, there's coverage underneath. There's tight coverage on Davis. And look underneath. You got to throw it over the defender, DeBerry. But anybody else, it's too high for. But when your receiver is 6'7" and can go up and get it, not only is he 6'7", but he can leap. And man, what a target to have, and just a freshman pulling it down. Nice throw and a nice catch.
24 yards, second catch for Davis. Averages about 27 yards a catch, best in the conference. Ball at the 15 in the red zone, and Virginia wants to talk about it.
Timeout, Virginia. Their first 30-second timeout.
6:46 to go in the third for Bronco Mendenhall and the Cavaliers, playing their 9th game of the season. BC playing its 11th game of the season.
Well, it's been a strong performance for the sophomore from Ohio, Brennan Armstrong, from the giddy-up, really. He's done it through the air. He's done it on the ground as well. A true dual-threat quarterback. There you see the 60-yard touchdown run. And, you know, had to chuckle as you saw him going over to the sidelines to talk things over with Bronco Mendenhall and Robert Anai against Abilene Christian. They had a safety that Anai admittedly was one line off. They tried a double pass in the end zone when they were trying to run it out, they said. So it ended up in a safety. And so they wanted to call the timeout and make sure that they were on the same page or the same line, if you will, with this one. There's Anai, the former Kahuku Red Raider and BYU national champion lineman in 1984. He played for the Cougars.
Armstrong breaks a couple of tackles down to the 5. He had a career day in that game against Abilene Christian. Threw for 383 yards against a non-conference opponent and had 4 TD passes, a career high.
We got Thompson leading the way.
In the red zone, CPI Security red zone, 1st and goal from the 5. Armstrong just has to eat that football and go down near the 5. Maybe a loss a little bit on the play. They may mark him at the 6. TJ Rayam, number 99, the senior in the center of that BC defensive unit. Working on the nose, Armstrong at quarterback. Here's 2nd and goal from just beyond the BC 5. Armstrong gets shoved back. Rayam, 99, just talked about him. He stuffs up the middle, James, and here's 3rd and goal.
There's some big fellas there on that 4-man front, couple 300-pounders. Ram goes just over 290. See if the senior from Alabama, and company can do it again here.
3 for 7 on third down. They swing it out. Kemp looking for the pylon. Flag comes out. He's in for the score.
This is going to be a flag on an illegal block. Just coming from outside that tackle box. It's just a dangerous block, I think is what they're going to call here.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block, offense number 81. 15-yard penalty, third down.
Yeah, it's just dangerous. You get too many ear hole shots in that situation. A guy who's blindsided and a defenseless player. Lavelle Davis, the freshman, the guilty party. And you know it's tough because you've been going back and forth, just grinding it out all night long, and you got all this padding on. That's what football's about, is about hitting, and you don't even have to take that big shot. All you got to do is kind of get in the way right there, but it's tough to pull off. We've seen it a couple times here tonight. Instead, it's 3rd and goal from back by the 20 now.
Right to the end of the play clock. Just did snap that one. Armstrong over the middle. At the 10, Poljan. But again, that was 3rd and goal. He got to the 11-yard line. So Delaney will be called upon once again. He's 2 for 2 in the game. Field goals of 38 and 26 yards, both in the first quarter for Brian Delaney.
The lefty, Brennan Armstrong, it's interesting seeing it come from the left side. Bailey Hockman, we've seen the southpaw earlier this year, but it's also interesting the way when he decides to pull that trigger, it's a quick release. He's got a really quick release on the ball when he needs to throw that strike in there, and not a long way to go there, of course, but giving Delaney a little better look at it.
So Delaney from 28 yards away. You saw the makes from 38 and 26. Those both in the first quarter for Delaney. And he is now 3 for 3. Brian Delaney knocking it through. 30-17, Virginia increasing its lead with 4:32 to go in the third. In front of 250 fans. That's the maximum. And a lot of them family members of the seniors playing their final game at Scott Stadium.
And sometimes in 2020 we get messed up on dates and what day it is. It's not New Year's right now, ladies and gentlemen. That's the fight song. That's the song they play. You know, Tom, the last stand, let's call it, the penalty, of course, helped it in keeping this football out of the end zone. And as we look at our defensive stop here presented by Ace Hardware, it's a pretty big one, you know, to hold them to that field goal, because about to go up another touchdown there for Virginia and make it 34-17. Instead, it'll sit at 30-17. And that blind side block, and then, of course, getting it down a little bit closer to Poljan. And the field goal makes it 30-17.
So the third quarter field goal from Delaney and the 60-yard TD run by Brennan Armstrong, 30-17, after BC had scored 10 late points in the second quarter, including a Bumeri field goal in the final seconds. But Delaney is now 3 for 3 in field goal attempts, and that would be 10 for 12 on the season in total for Brian Delaney.
Still plenty of ball left to be played. And Jeff Affley's team, they're going to continue to fight, that's for sure. But this is an important drive right here. Try to get that momentum back like they did there in that second quarter, just when Virginia looked like they were going to start pulling away in this game.
Grosel. Flowers wide open near the 35, and now trying to get away from the defenders and get a little bit more. Diving for the 25-yard line. Zay Flowers. They couldn't find him back there, James. The only one to find him was his quarterback, Dennis Grosel.
Yeah, it looked like he was playing center field right there from the former walk-on who actually passed up some baseball scholarships, Dennis Grosel, to come play quarterback, and taking advantage of the weak coverage in the secondary again.
50 yards on the pass play. They follow it up with a Levy run. Boston College, James, just one of 5 Power 5 teams to play 10 games this season, and now they're 11th today and tonight against Virginia. In fact, both of these programs have done a masterful job managing the COVID protocols this season.
Oh, haven't they? And Bronco Mendenhall even gave quite a compliment to Jeff Hafley's squad. He said their biggest victory of the season, they've got 6 wins on the field, but he said the biggest one is against the University of Coronavirus. So they've only had 1 positive test, Tom, since June.
An amazing record for the Eagles. This is going to be a negative play for the Eagles. Devontae Cross, who's got an interception tonight, is going to get a sack to go along with that INT. So the senior from Allentown, Pennsylvania, found his way to Grosel. Loss of 7.
And again, another defensive back that they're blitzing that's untouched. We saw it a couple times there in the first half. You got to pick up those guys. And what happens is they'll come on a little bit of a delay. So up front, the offensive line will feel like they've got all their blocks secured. And that little delay makes people commit, and there's nobody left to block Cross. So here's your 3rd and 17 now. But maybe that's what they need, is just more space.
Grosel has to run away. Throws this one into the Virginia bench. Hunter Long was the closest BC receiver, but that was just an emergency play by Grosel to get rid of it. Looked like Nick Jackson was up in his grill.
And they'll keep this offense out there on a 4th down and 17. And boy, they've had their way with the long ball, so why not? Down deep in field position.
BC's only gone for it 12 times on 4th down this season, made it 8 times, and this is the first time in this game either team is going to attempt the 4th down play. Grosel rifles this one. Oh, it's incomplete. Diving attempt, Jalen Gill. A little bit of mustard on that one, and Gill couldn't get to it. He's still down.
BC doing a good job of picking up that pressure. And I like the aggressiveness there on 4th and 17, and they had it. They had him coming out of that route a couple steps. Wow, and almost a heck of a catch as he goes out and tries to get it with one. Doesn't have any padding as he goes down. Might have gotten the wind knocked out of him a little bit, but great effort by Jalen Gill, the sophomore transfer from Ohio State. Buckeyes with a big win today without their head coach Ryan Day against Michigan State.
2 catches in the game for Gill for 52 yards, but he couldn't haul it in on 4th down, and the ball goes to Virginia. Kemp on the run, or the little shovel pass forward.
Yeah, again, they have another good run, and this one, again, this one is Thompson.
Holding, offense, number 99, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
I don't know why he's shaking his head. That was an easy one. Bronco's shaking his head too. Let's see if we can find it. Right there, you see he's got, who was that? One of the defenders wrapped up. UVA had that touchdown called back earlier on an illegal block. That one was an illegal blindside block. This one was a hold. Look at Max Richardson, great linebacker for BC.
BC put a real scare into then number 2 Notre Dame mid-November. Irish ended up winning that game. That's Kemp, catch and run, midfield, 1st down Virginia. Irish are out in front of Syracuse right now, James, in the 4th, 45-21. They're going to be in the ACC title game December 19th.
Yeah, and Tom, they put even more of a scare into Clemson. I mean, you know, the 2 big dogs, not just in the ACC, but in the country, 2 of the best teams, and they went blow for blow with them.
Clemson plays later tonight at 7:30 at Virginia Tech. Miami and Duke at 8 o'clock. If Miami loses or Clemson wins, that puts the Tigers into the title game. Pass on the edge, 45-yard line. And complete. Starling with the catch, the freshman from Nashville, Tennessee, getting into the box score.
First Tennessean this week. Last week it was like the volunteer state show. We had Duke and Georgia Tech, had all kinds of Tennessee kids making plays.
One other final from the ACC, North Carolina defeating Western Carolina 49-9. Talapapa up the middle. That should be a first down too inside the 40. Just the second carry of the day, but it produces a first down for Talapapa.
Cavs went all the way out to Hawaii to get Wayne Talapapa. Went to Punahou High School. Power out there, like Kahuku High School. Red Raiders where Anai went.
Armstrong scanning the field and now running with it. Got that ball in his left hand like a loaf of bread, and he takes it out near the 35-yard line. He's used 7 different wide receivers in the throw game, but that time he uses the legs effectively, as he's done all game. Leading rusher on the season. He's over 100 yards with 111. First time we've seen a Virginia back do that, and now give him 116 after the 5 yards on that carry. And that is going to be the end of our quarter, James. So 30-17, Virginia trying to win its first game ever against Boston College. And they got the lead headed to the 4th.
I got this mountain bike for only...
Good job by Armstrong. He's going to take Sela along with him. And Sela doing a good job of escaping that block and flattening out, coming down and making that play. But still, damage is done as the chains will move. Just doing what he does best, this quarterback here, the sophomore, Brennan Armstrong.
6 yards on that previous run from Armstrong. He's got the 60-yard TD run in the third quarter. 47-yard TD pass in the second quarter to Rashawn Henry. His 4th TD grab of the year. And as James noted at the time, he'd had 4 catches for 4 touchdowns. He's had subsequent catches. 3 in the game and 95 yards for Henry. Armstrong can't find a target. Bounces off BC at the 30 and then scampers out of bounds into the red zone at the 19 as Richardson impeded his progress and forced him out. Escorting Armstrong to the sideline. That's a confident quarterback back there for Virginia, James.
No, it is. He doesn't panic. He scampers. He's a scrappy scamperer. How about that? I mean, he looks like he's going to be dropped for maybe a loss. You know, if he has a chance, he's got a guy streaking down the field with McDuffie trailing. That was Simpson coming out of the backfield. But he gets it up there. Instead of 2nd and 12, it's 2nd and 2.
They'll throw it on 2nd and 2. Down toward the goal line. And in for the touchdown. Lavelle Davis on the catch from Brennan Armstrong. Davis the score for the Cavaliers.
Here's that quick release. Finds his big 6'7", 210-pound target. And Davis paid the price a little bit. Couldn't get that big body down fast enough as he takes a shot by the freshman in the secondary, Cam Arnold. Hopefully he'll be okay as the training staff takes a look at him.
Rule on the field is a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
I mean, he's just so tough. Now, what'll be interesting if we can get a down-the-line shot.
Well, the official to the left of what we're looking at right now is the one who came in and gave that first touchdown signal. As Davis, if it stands, that's TD catch number 6 on the year and the 2nd in the game for Armstrong as far as TD passes are concerned. He keeps possession, James, with the right arm, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's just whether he crossed that plane or not is what they're trying to look at. As Keytaon Thompson is doing the Pee Wee Herman dance. That was, for a while there, was tequila.
You can have some fun if you're up 36-17, and if this touchdown stands especially, you can celebrate with 13.5 minutes to go in the 4th, trying to pull away from Boston College after leading 20-17 at halftime.
Yeah, and you know, and I think this is going to stick at 36 right here. Extra point pending, just because they don't have the perfect look at it. It's really close. It's either a touchdown or on the 1-inch line, as it seems like the back nose of that ball might have been across just as his backside hits the ground.
Lower left, you see that official right on the goal line, and the call on the field is touchdown, which means you must have indisputable video evidence to overturn the call, which again, as I just mentioned, was touchdown.
Exactly.
Marcus Woods is our referee in the white hat. So if it stands, it's 19 yards. That's Davis, and he is being escorted towards the Virginia locker room.
Yeah, and what a shame. He missed some time already here in his freshman season. He's been fantastic when he's been out there, but he's been banged up a little bit. And he took a shot to his head.
Yeah, he's missed 2 games during the course of the season because of injury. So let's see how they sort this one out. This could be a multi-pronged decision.
After further review, the runner was short of the goal line. He was down with the ball at the half-yard line. Also, targeting defense, number 27. Number 27 is disqualified. Half the distance to the goal. First down, Virginia.
Wow, all right, so here's the targeting that they add, and you know, I mean, gosh, we're so busy looking at that ball, I didn't realize how hard that shot was to the head, and you know, I mean, here's freshman Cam Arnold just trying to get over there and make a play, keep him out of the end zone. It wasn't what he intended, but that's the rule, so it's unfortunate. So a secondary that is just incredibly depleted already. Jones got hurt. Mike Palmer couldn't play tonight. Cam Arnold now is ejected.
First and goal, ruling Davis short of the end zone on the review. Into the end zone and a touchdown. Wayne Talapapa slams it in from short yardage for Virginia to complete the drive. And there's your touchdown. 36-17 Cavs early in the 4th. Fifth rushing touchdown of the season for Taulapapa.
Yeah, big body back. Like those backs, I think Fui Vakapuna and company out there at BYU that Robert and I used to have. And the Polynesian kids, and strong as they go for 2 now, trying to add to that 36.
Back of the end zone, incomplete. Tony Poljan, who was the leading receiver in their most recent game 2 weeks ago against Abilene Christian, can't hang on to that one. So it's Taulapapa from the half-yard line to the end zone, to the house for Virginia, 36-17. Points in a row since the start of the second half, because they had a 20-17 halftime lead in BC, unable to get on the board so far in our second half.
The fourth side, as they call the energy there on the sidelines here. It's like the juice crew, the sideline crew at Georgia Tech, trying to provide the juice.
From the 5, it's Levy. He goes down near the 25-yard line, and we go down to Abby Labar.
Tom, you mentioned Bronco being 0-3 against Boston College. His first game as a head coach at BYU back in 2005. Actually, take that back. He was at home, because here's what he said he remembered from that game. He said, instead of going for it on 4th down, we ended up punting the ball, and I will never forget, I actually got booed by the entire crowd. Imagine that, being booed at your home field in your first game as a head coach, guys.
Man, rough crowd.
I know.
He said he didn't even remember the result of that game when we talked to him, and Abby will back us up on this. He didn't remember the result, but he remembered getting booed. He said it shook him up. I mean, this is a seasoned football player and coach, and he got booed that time, and he remembered that right away. He didn't even know if they won the game or not, James.
Right.
Incredible.
Oh, man, that would be rough, Abby. Look at him. It looks like he's still thinking about it right now. He puts his head down.
Sometimes I get booed by the guys in the truck, the men and women working so hard. You know, it happens every once in a while to even the best of them, James, right?
Yep. You just got to roll with it.
By the way, big tip of the cap to our production crew all season long, working so hard. Those women and men who spend many hours here at the stadium. That ball popped out. It's on the turf. Grosel was pressured. Matt Gamm forcing the fumble. And BC still has the football. I don't know how, but they have it.
Was that a ball that came out there at the end that Alonso picked up, or a helmet?
Well, you can clearly see that ball was on the turf. Grosel thought otherwise, and then Gamm is on his right. And maybe Mahogany, number 73 for BC, covered it. Then it comes out at the end, James. There it is.
Yeah, that's... I mean, how do two huge guys have it, and both of them? I guess it was just power on power, and it just went flying out of there. But
loss of 10 on the play. Grosel pressured inside the 5 and sacked. He goes down. Mandy Alonso, number 91 for Virginia.
When Mandy decides to turn on the Jets, watch him right there in the middle. Just gets shoved out of the way a little bit, but when he changes direction, when he turns on the Jets for a big man, he's got a nice little burst, and he's got good hustle to him. I've watched him chase down a few ball carriers down the sidelines in this football game. Here he gets to the quarterback, a big drop.
4th sack of the game for Virginia. Kemp runs towards his own bench on the BC side of the 50. Excellent field position after the sack from Alonso to end the BC possession.
My goodness, what a machine!
In the 40s when we get there to Atlanta on Thursday. Again, a Thursday night game. And that just shows you the flexibility of the ACC, James. The fact that the game gets postponed, the original Pittsburgh Georgia Tech game, and they say, you know what? Let's play it on December 10th, that Thursday, and get it done. And right now it's on the schedule, and we should be there.
Yeah, we will be there. And I was looking forward to calling it a couple weeks ago when it was postponed, so I'm glad we get a backup try at it. Two fun football teams, and anxious to see if the spectacular freshman, not just Jeff Sims, but Jahmyr Gibbs, if he's healthy and can go, because he was injured, looked to be a hamstring against Duke in the nice win. Pitt, of course.
So Ronnie Walker on the carry. Josh DeBerry is back in the Boston College defense. Remember, he had to be taken off earlier in the game and attended to, but he's back.
From Grosse Pointe Park, Michigan.
Brennan Armstrong filling up the stat sheet tonight, as he has done on a number of occasions this season. They'll stay with the ground game and Simpson. How about Armstrong game, James? He's now got 4 games with 200 or more pass yards, 40 or more rush yards, and 1 or more passing TDs and rushing TDs. I mean, that is filling up the stat sheet.
Well, and you, as you watch the last few games, you see it's not just the coaches just talking, saying, oh, he gets better every time he goes out there. I mean, it's true. Look at him tonight. I mean, he's meant so much to this football team. You take back an interception that he tossed up there just trying a little too hard to make something happen. But, you know, that's going to happen. It happened to Grosel on the other side a couple times. But he's had an outstanding night.
Thompson carries it as we go inside of 10 minutes remaining in our fourth quarter. Ran into Cam Horsley, 96, 99, TJ Raham.
Anai is very upset there. He wanted to keep it going. It's kind of like the head ball coach. Those offensive play callers, they just Steve Spurrier.
How's that go?
but they want to keep, like it's like taking away a kid's toy, and they get so upset, if a defense can't get a 3 and out, they just want to call plays. They just want to call plays and keep it going and have fun. Jeez, you guys get a stop.
Gill. And it's a fair catch, a penalty, and the ball right now at about the 7 or 8. But again, there's a marker on the punt play. There's Marcus Woods presiding this evening as our referee. Daytime turning into nighttime. We start at 3:30 Eastern. It is now 6:20 Eastern. 9:09 on the game clock.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 10 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down.
Paris Jones, correction. Ronnie Walker, number 20. 36-17. Cavaliers lead the Eagles in the fourth.
Domino's knows a thing or
Virginia.
How about that? A true freshman. And again, it's a big frame. Yeah, he can leap. Yeah, but he also can run. He's caught a few balls and he's taken off and he's left the defense, most notably against Abilene Christian. This one right here last weekend from Brennan Armstrong. 90-yard touchdown reception. The longest reception in the ACC this year. And the numbers are up there, and getting word from Abby down on the sidelines that he doesn't have his helmet with him, so he probably is done for the night, but hopefully he's okay. It was the big hit on his head that they actually, Cam Arnold, they added on a targeting call and ejected him from the game.
Grosel's pass as he slings that one out to Levy, complete. Davis in the game, James, 3 catches, 66 yards, and a near TD. BC in the second half, 0 points for Coach Hafley's team. They'd thrown for 251 yards in the first half. Up until this series, only 80 yards passing as Witter makes the catch, the backup tight end behind Hunter Long. It was Long on the catch, correction. Number 80 on the grab. But regardless of the outcome this evening, Boston College has had a fantastic year. That'll be a catch from C.J. Lewis, the sliding grab past his own 45-yard line. Again, Phil Jerkovic unable to go today. Injury to the throwing shoulder, the right shoulder, and a left knee injury as well. Grosel just threw that one for 19 yards in for Jerkovic. And Grosel will just throw that one away. He had 7 starts last year. This is first of this season for number 6. His numbers are pretty good, James, in the game. He's 23 of 35 after that one thrown out of bounds and 356 yards. Career high for Grosel.
Well, quite a few of those catches have been by Hunter Long, the tight end that we saw a few moments ago with that catch.
His parents in the stands watching. Part of the total number of 250 fans allowed into our game. It's better than none. Over the middle at the 50, there's Levy just running away to the 30. Levy gallops 20 yards after the catch.
Well, you can't stay on the ground. Levy was down on the ground. Coming out of the backfield. He trips up trying to get out of the traffic and doing a great job. Uh-oh.
Ball's on the turf. Grosel has to just cover after they got 21 on the previous play. There's going to be a negative sign in front of this number after this play.
Gosh, Tough one, and lucky to get that one back, and almost didn't get it back.
16 is the loss on the play.
Interesting conversation that we had on Zoom with Jeff Hafley about making sure he stays even keeled. He wasn't sure he'd be able to control his emotions like he's done this year. He's been proud of himself.
Deep pass near the 5. C.J. Lewis was the receiver. That's incomplete. Knocked away Joey Blunt back there for Virginia. And so 3rd and very long. In fact, BC has to get near the Virginia 20 for a first down. Ball's at the 47 of Virginia. Coming off the win last Saturday against Louisville at home. 6th win of the season for the Eagles and 5th ACC win. Hunter Long over the middle. 4th down, you'd imagine they leave Grosel out there. 0 for 1 on 4th down of the game for Coach Hafley's team. Grosel to the 15-yard line. It's a strike and a first down. Wow. 3rd and 26, no problem. Give them 2 downs and they've got the first down and they're in the red zone.
Yeah, here's Galloway. Found him late in that win over Louisville. Good receiver, sophomore, pretty good hands.
Looks like Virginia's going to call a timeout. Grosel now.
Timeout, Virginia. That's 2nd.
Grosel is 26 of 39, 409 yards passing. Long way to go for the Eagles in the 4th.
This year, Christmas might be.
Gabby was gaming in her bedroom. Then she ate
hard hits, but that's all part of it. The junior from St. Ignatius, anybody that played football there in the Cleveland, Ohio area, St. Ignatius, you know they're tough. And it started out at Butler before transferring, Abby.
Guys, he's had quite an experience here at Boston College, and he's somebody that Jeff Hafley said everyone should learn from. He has such a humble and positive attitude, and guys, I got to talk to him this week, and we had a great conversation. He was just talking about how much he loves the game of football and enjoying the experience as a whole. The process, everything all about it. He's just lucky to be a college athlete at one of the greatest institutions, and so normally when he's not in the game, he's on the sideline with the headset on, and he says he's actually one of the most vocal people. He says everyone says he won't stop talking, and so I said, Dennis, who takes over that role when you're in the game? And he said, well, quite a few guys will have to do that, actually.
Wants to pass again, Abby, to the end zone for Boston College, and a touchdown for the Eagles. Zay Flowers has his 2nd TD grab of the game.
Look at Zay coming up, just shaking it off, just shaking off the stars, and that's the difference when you're 5'11" to 6'7". Very similar. The safety breaking on that ball, trying to dislodge it, but when you're 5'11", you can get out of the way of trouble, as you see the hit that Grosel took. But that wasn't the case with the big 6'7" receiver Davis a few moments ago for Virginia. And still a pretty hard hit, and they'll try to tack 2 on here and make this an 11-point game.
3rd TD pass of the game for Grosel. 2nd one to Flowers, 45 yards, and the 15-yarder just a second ago. This at the goal line. He hits him again. Flag on the play. Flag on the play on the BC 2-point conversion try.
The extra point is good. Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 91, the 15-yard penalty being forced on the kickoff.
Mandy Alonso flagged for the infraction, and the extra points are good. 2-point play to Zay Flowers. So with 6:19 to go, James, all of a sudden, it's gotten interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is a 2-score game.
You know, it felt like Virginia was on its way to victory, but Dennis Grosel instructing his teammates on what they needed to do, and they've done it and executed and gotten into the end zone. on his 3rd TD pass of the game. And he continues to improve on his career highs being built in this game against Virginia in his first start of the year, replacing Phil Jurkovec out with shoulder and leg injuries.
You know, it's kind of a tough spot with 6:19 and 3 timeouts. I don't think you have to kick the onside here, but I would kick it, knowing that if they get the ball, you're going to have to make a stop either way. You've been able to hit the big strikes on this defense. Boston College has. So give it a shot, see if you can get that onside right now. Here we go.
They are going to try it. Big bouncer. And the popcorn hop right to the Cavaliers, able to cover it. That's Terrell Jana.
Did like a little do-si-do. Now everybody promenade. The okey-doke onside.
Game clock operator, please set the game clock to 6:18.
So that's Boumeri who steps up.
Thank you.
For the onside kick. The field goal kicker, Boumeri.
And look at this. Cavs go empty here, looking to sling it.
And they will. Thompson for Virginia. Past the 40. Armstrong's got good numbers, too. He's approaching 300 yards passing in the game. Got 7 on that one. He's got a TD pass and a TD run. He's about a half yard away from 2 TD passes tonight as he hit Lavelle Davis at the goal line. They ruled him down, and then there was a targeting penalty on Cam Arnold, who was disqualified. This year, you do not have to leave the playing field and go back to the locker room. You can stay on the sideline with your teammates, but disqualified. And to the 46-yard line, roughly, for Thompson.
It looks like they'll move those chains, and yeah, BC with 3 timeouts, but they're going to have to get a stop here. There's an opportunity. They stuffed Thompson, similar situation earlier. Don't think they'll give it to him. Looks like he is about a yard shy, so that clock continues to tick down under 5 minutes now. It'll go, and Broncos troops, they're just fine with letting it just melt away. Take it down to the bottom of that play clock before snapping this one.
3 of 9 on 3rd down. This is 3rd and short, and they're just going to move that pile. And Pyle drive it forward with Thompson.
Yeah, so much they'll run them in motion and across there, and a couple times this year.
Timeout, Boston College. Their first 30-second timeout.
So BC takes a timeout, chance for the players to get some high-quality H2O on that sideline.
Yeah, try to get some more tackling fuel. Get behind those big bodies, go ahead and stopping in that motion right in the middle and taking that snap in front of Brennan Armstrong.
I like that. James, while we have a second, let's now get a message from Works.
Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. The future of lawn care is here.
That seems like a great holiday gift, James.
It does. Well,
Landroid from Works.
I think they make a leaf blower too. They needed one over there on the lawn earlier. There were some leaves that were
they could use that to cut the lawn here on the grounds of the University of Virginia if they so choose.
Thomas Jefferson
in front of the rotunda.
Thomas Jefferson would be proud of that device. I mean, everything that he invented over the years, he would be really impressed with the Land Rover.
The principal author of the Declaration of Independence. He was 76 years old when he founded this university in 1819. Tala Pop on the carry.
Timeout, Boston College. Their second 30-second timeout.
And right now, BC has to expend those timeouts with 4:37 on the game clock, trying to get that football back. Those points for BC on the TD from Grosel to Flowers, the first of the second half for the Eagles. Well, we have a second. Here goes Armstrong. 60 yards on the run to the house.
And it wasn't just big plays with his feet. It was big plays through the air as well. There's the big shot that Davis took. Thought he was in. We'll play later. Talapapa into the paint.
Operator, please set the game clock for 4:39. 4:39.
What a tough kid. Grosel continues to get hit and bounce right back up. It's going to be up to his defense right here, though. They need to get a stop. Use 2 of those 3 timeouts right here in the last few moments. 4:39 as this time's wasting away. They got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
3 TD passes for Grosel and 424 yards passing, but right now for the Eagles, he's on the bench. This is Thompson. He wants that direct snap. First down and more. Right up the middle to the end zone. Touchdown, Thompson. Second rushing TD of the game, and this one goes for 43 yards for Thompson.
Bronco Mendenhall very proud of the shape that his football team is in, and that offensive line. Look at them right there, showing you how strong and what good shape they're in, blowing those guys up front off the ball, just washing them down and making it so easy for the long strider Thompson, the transfer from Mississippi State.
86 rushing yards for Keytaon Thompson. Delaney hits the extra point.
Watch these big guys up front, though. Watch, I mean, this late in the game with these big guys, Chris Glazer, Oluwatimi, Swoboda, Poljan, and Thompson. They'd be throwing dog biscuits right now if he was still in Starkville. That's how they celebrate down there in Barkin.
The junior from New Orleans, Louisiana. And the party is on the sideline with 4:32 to go. Boston College got a TD, but Virginia comes right back with Thompson. 43 yards right up the middle, sprinting to the end zone. More high quality H2O, James. So we came into the day and evening with Boston College winning all 6 meetings previously with Virginia. So the Cavaliers trying to close in on their first win in the series. In fact, BC was 4-0 in meetings between the teams as members of the ACC. There is a penalty on this return, stare. Let's get a note on the flag from Marcus Woods.
Offside, kicking team, number 10. The 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down, Boston College.
So again, while BC and Virginia play late in the 4th, we already know that Notre Dame has posted a win. We knew they were going to be in the title game anyway. So here you go. There are the 6 meetings all the way back to 1963 in BC and Chestnut Hill. And then they last met 2017 in a win for Boston College here in Charlottesville. Grosel down the sideline. Flowers.
Wow, how about that throw? Beautiful throw, and Flowers almost able to stay on one foot and stay in bounds. This throw's as good as it gets. Good protection up front and just slings that sucker. Drops it right in there over the defender. Flowers was close.
Grosel again. And that's intercepted. Amos has the interception for Virginia. Third interception of the game by Grosel. So now Cross Amos, and Grant all have interceptions in that Cavalier secondary.
Yeah, he's eyeballing that receiver the whole way through, looking for his big man Long, who he's hit so many times here tonight. And I'll make you famous, Amos, stepping in front and pulling it down. Keep your head up 6. You fought hard. Man, it's been fun to watch him get out here and compete. As we go over to Virginia now, it's finally get a look at that 36. Lindell Stone, who's filled in a little bit here, ready to go.
So the Cavs trying to make their way in the final 4 minutes to victory for the first time ever against Boston College. Just highlighting that ACC championship game, which will be on December 19th. Clemson is playing Virginia Tech tonight, so should the Tigers win, that gets them in the title game. They're the 5-time defending champs. In fact, they beat this Virginia program last year in the title game in Charlotte.
You know, it's as odd as the 99 looks with Keytaon Thompson back there running around. It's kind of a cool looking number, the double digits of the 2 9s. The 36, you know, a lot of people watch Virginia football like, wait, what's this guy doing here, 36, playing quarterback? There's a flag on the play. And as many of you know, with
illegal block in the back, offense number 80, half the distance to the goal. Correction, the penalty is declined. 3rd down.
You get the number. Your picking order comes in how hard you work for your jersey number, how hard you work in the offseason. And Stone a couple years ago got that 36, and that's where he sat. And he's probably had an opportunity to change out of it, but he's stuck with it. And so we decided to put together a little list of some other interesting numbers on quarterbacks. One that I was thinking was, back in the day, Heath Schuler used to wear that 21 at the University of Tennessee. But it's kind of fun to see some numbers. Fun to see that 0 here in the mix. Come on, guys.
Some post-whistle activity between the Cavaliers and Eagles.
So anybody, there's Bernie Kosar, went on to play with the Cleveland Browns. There's Heath Schuler, actually went on to be a politician, I think maybe still is. Lorenzen, yeah, the Pillsbury Pro Bowl
Heisman Trophy winner Doug Flutie, 1984.
Fits in nicely, look at that.
Now that is a good looking 22 right there.
Timeout, Boston College, their 3rd and final timeout.
You know, Doug Flutie won the Heisman in '84. He threw that last-second pass to beat Miami in the Orange Bowl to Gerard Phelan to win it 47-45.
Timeout, Boston College. 30-second timeout.
So BC finished that season in '84, James, 10-2. They won the Cotton Bowl against Houston. And Flutie, 30 career wins as a starter, and that is a BC school record. Number 22, the Heisman Trophy winner. There's a statue of Flutie outside of Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. As well, there should be.
Okay, that's an interesting 1984 story, but the best.
You like
I
that?
see your 1984 story, and I raise you with, now I hope you're ready, Abby. I'm just throwing this down there. You got to be a curveball hitter. But Abby, do you have perhaps a better 1984 story?
What?
Maybe one that revolves around Robert and I?
Okay. We wait in anticipation of that story. Abby?
So there's Robert and I as an offensive lineman for BYU. And, you know, it was long before social media, of course. And it seems like almost long before telephones when you hear the story that he went home after their Holiday Bowl victory, back home to Hawaii, and was surfing for about a week. And his buddy... Okay, I'll let you finish it up, Abby.
I can't wait to hear this.
Well, guys, I was down here, I just found out that Brennan Armstrong was actually the first player in UVA history to lead his offense to 400-plus yard games back-to-back because he had that last game. So, anyways, more importantly, that 84-yard or that 84 game that Coach and I was talking about, he said he answered the phone. He was out, had just gotten done surfing, and they called and told him over the phone, hey, we just won the national championship. He said that's how we found out things back then. We didn't have social media.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what social media was in '84, James? These things we used to take a pen and write on paper and then fold it up and put it in an envelope and send it to people.
What is this envelope that you speak of?
Yes, I know. It's a rectangular thing.
Well, on those same beaches, let me make sure I get the Godfather, the Duke Kahanamoku. I hope I don't butcher that name. But because he was an Olympian swimmer as well, but the father of surfing, when they built a statue for him back in Honolulu.
The Duke was a 5-time Olympian.
Let me make sure I get all my vowels in there. Kahanamoku. Yeah, he was a 5-time Olympian.
Well done.
So they used Robert Anai to stand in for the sculptor who did his surfing statue back there that's still there today.
That pass is complete. That's Galloway. Virginia may win this game, James, but they're going to look at this footage and clean up a few things because BC has thrown for 511 yards through the air and 3 TDs. Now, Grosel does have 3 interceptions. He tries the end zone again. Galloway, touchdown, Boston College. How did Jelani Galloway catch that one in the end zone for BC?
I mean, again, Grosel just dropping it in there for him. He's had such a good night throwing that football. Yeah, he's had a couple picks that he'd love to have back, but he's gotten out there and scrapped. Decent coverage, cross. I mean, he just drops it in there where and you're running out of real estate, so there's nowhere else.
Ruled on the field is a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
Yeah. So the question will be, does he have control of that football? Ruling is a touchdown on the field.
It looks like the knee hits, right, James?
Well, it's just watching that football, and does he control
knee?
it? Is that considered control right there? Yeah, it's not tucked away, but it's not moving. So I would say he has control. Watch the ball right here.
What a throw and catch combination, regardless of the outcome. If it stands, it's 10 yards, James. It's the 4th TD pass of the game for Grosel and the 2nd of the season receiving for Galloway. If it stands.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed.
Not just stands. It's confirmed. There you go. Touchdown. Nice throw and catch.
Now, either way here, BC still needs a couple of scores with Virginia up 43-31 because of that most recent touchdown by Thompson of 43 yards on the ground for Virginia. So BC will go for 2. Try to make it a 2-score game. Well, they made that look easy. Little slant to Gill.
Little rub route is what they're calling it.
Pass interference, offense number 13. 15-yard penalty. We'll replay the try.
Maybe that's why it looked like it was so easy for Boston College.
Little pick, little rub route, which is fitting with a name like Gill because Johnny Gill sang "Rub You the Right Way." See, their little pick.
So BC will now go for the extra point, which essentially is going to be about 35 yards away.
Still going to need it one way or another.
Right. Now they bring a 2-point conversion into the mix. So Bumeri with the extra point. He does have a 35-yard field goal in this game also. Dennis Grosel, he's going to have to ice that arm.
Yeah.
520 yards. These are all career highs, obviously. 4 TD passes. He's hit Flowers twice. He's found Hunter Long. He just hit Jelani Galloway, who made a sensational catch. And 32 of 46 for Boston College.
Well, and that's why way back, what, 4 hours ago, my key to the game for Boston College was fly, Eagles, fly, because you knew it was there, because this secondary for Virginia, they've struggled. You go back and you turn on the North Carolina game, and they still haven't stopped a lot of those long balls. But fortunately for the Cavs, they got to the quarterback, Sam Howell. Let's see if they go square dance style with this onside kick again. Last time it didn't work.
Second try, they'll go straight ahead. BC may have this. A couple of Eagles think they have it. They went with the straight ahead little roller.
Boy, it was nice, but I just wonder if they touched it early before it went 10.
Yeah, gotta go the 10. You're right, James.
But it hit just like you wanted it to, but they were a little bit early, I think, as they try to sort it out.
Yeah, they sent it right up the middle. Boston College has the football. I just saw an indication from Marcus Woods, the referee. And they've got it.
Josh DeBerry.
Yep.
The ruling on the field is Boston College recovered the kick. The previous play is under further review.
So they'll review the play.
Okay, it's got to go 10 yards.
So that is Stephen Ruiz, number 94. The redshirt sophomore kicker. What do you think, James?
Well, I think it hits him in the chest, right at about 9.5 yards, unfortunately.
And you see, he even tried to back up and like
Matrix.
Try to avoid it. Yeah, exactly.
Like the Matrix.
This is a great replay. Watch him bend back, and it hits him right there at probably maybe the 9-yard mark.
Oh,
how close!
Man, so tough. I mean, it's tough enough to get it to take that bounce, and then trying to figure out what the heck it's going to do as you run full speed and try to cover it. I mean, almost perfectly executed. And you know what? Even on top of that, there's a block here before that ball reaches 10 yards. So even if right there, the ball's not 10 yards yet, and that's a rule that we've seen actually a couple times this year that would cause them to turn it back over.
Again, that is Stephen Ruiz, 94 in white for BC, trying to avoid that football. DeBerry came up with it. He joined the fray much later. But the play is under review, and based on what we saw, there's enough evidence there to overturn this. But again, that's what we saw, and that's what James saw, and I'd have to agree.
That's what we saw, and we're really smart.
Well, that's debatable. That might be under review as well. James, I think you're right on the money on this one. You've predicted this one expertly.
After further review, we have a legal touching kicking team. The kicker touched the ball at the 44-yard line. It'll be Virginia's ball, 1st and 10.
And that's exactly why we have replay.
Yeah.
Let's get it right, and that's exactly what they did. Very close for BC. I just want to get this one note out about Grosel, because this is jaw-dropping. So Dennis Grosel, number 6 in white, you've watched him throw the ball all over the field tonight, in for the injured Phil Jerkovic. First start of the season for Grosel, right? You got all that? Okay.
Yep.
He's thrown for 520 yards tonight. He is now tied Doug Flutie. We just talked about 1984 Heisman Trophy, Doug Flutie. He has just tied Doug Flutie for the single game passing record in BC history with 520 yards. Flutie set that back in 1982 against Penn State. So as it stands at this moment, his name will be alongside Doug Flutie's in the Boston College record books.
Wow.
I know you lost the game, but that's not too bad.
That isn't bad. Get him a box of Flutie Flakes. Oh, man, some Grosel grits maybe they could sell at the
You're a marketing genius, James. Now, obviously, BC would like to see a different outcome, and it's only 123 and rolling for Virginia in the victory formation from winning its first game of the series in the 7th all-time meeting between the teams. But again, Look at the name at the bottom of that graphic. Doug Flutie. 520 yards, the most in a single game. Flutie did that in 82. He went on to win the Heisman in 84.
Yeah, I mean, he was special to watch as a kid, and I've been around him at a few, of all things, Mountain West Conference basketball tournaments. He would always show up, and just what an incredible guy, as many of these Boston College fans know. Great guy to have around this program, and big win for the program here in Charlottesville. That's for sure. Congratulations to Bronco Mendenhall and his Cavaliers.
They've got Virginia Tech next week on the schedule, the Commonwealth Cup and the 102nd meeting with the Hokies, who are taking on Clemson later tonight, about a half hour. Final seconds will tick off the clock, and Dennis Grosel and the Eagles come up just short. 43-32. Pretty good night for Armstrong as well. 287 yards passing and a TD. And he was the leading rusher with 130 yards also. And he used a bunch of different receivers, led by Kemp with 6 catches, 54 yards. And Henry had 3 catches for 95 yards, the most yardage. The Commonwealth Cup, Virginia put an end to the 15-year losing streak a season ago with the victory 39-30. They'd also lost 19 of the last 20 prior to last year. Rush the field at Scott Stadium and celebrate the win in the Commonwealth Cup November 29th a year ago, 39-30 against Virginia Tech. And they'll take on their rival, the Hokies. The game was supposed to be like the second week of the season for Virginia this year, but because of some cancellations, postponements, what have you, it's moved back to its normal slot on the schedule, and they'll wrap up the regular season with the game against Virginia Tech for the Cavaliers. And that'll be on the road as they win this one 43-32 against Boston College. And the seniors, James, can celebrate a win. They led 20-17 at half and then built the lead and hung on to it in the second half.
Oh no, Charles Snowden. He almost bit it on his scooter.
Don't injure the other leg.
Careful, big man. Careful. He hurt that ankle. You know what? And with that senior day, just such special memories to run out and see your parents out on the field. They weren't able to do this because of COVID here, but they did have a really special tribute. Each parent, group of parents or family members, they recorded a little video to send their seniors off and to say goodbye.